I think any 2D creator can agree that building structures isn't an easy task, so in this video I'm going to show you easy ways to more consistently make good structures in 2.2. But first we must get familiar with the 4 different types of decorating. We have glow, modernism, realism and also design. Now, many experienced creators have a specific style that they like going for, and it's important that you experiment to find out which one suits you the best. So when you're actually making the structure, you have a specific goal to try and make a structure look like a specific thing. So, you picked your style. Now, how are you going to decorate it, and what blocks are you going to use, and where are you going to put them? So my first tip is to put blocks where they shouldn't go. And what I mean by that is like, look at this structure, it kind of looks dull and boring. So if you take blocks from different categories and put it inside, it looks much more interesting and unique and has a kind of personality to it. So when putting blocks in a certain way where they kind of shouldn't go, it just looks much more vibrant and it can really spice up your levels a bit. Now this is kind of what separates your level from a normal design level to something that has actual like depth to it. See, take the level Touch the Orbs. It's the structures at hand, they look like they shouldn't work, they look really messy, but when you take them to the entire level, they fit well quite nicely. Like Atomic Rest uses them in such a creative way that they really fit, and while they might look messy, they look really cool in the level. So I think it's really important to have like a unique style and put blocks where they shouldn't be. But every time you add a detail, just ask yourself, is it actually improving the structure, or are you just adding it to make it a bit more cluttered? Because a level that's too cluttered is just as bad as one that doesn't have enough. So take a time to realise if you think that the level actually needs more deco, because if it doesn't, it's probably not worth adding it at all. Now, creating is a very time-consuming process, and that does mean corner cutting can help a lot with like the time management. So copying structures is actually quite a good thing, but having one structure that carries the entire part just feels a bit boring and very monotone. So having at least 3 different types of unique structures throughout the part can really help to like spice up the level. Now, if you just start decorating thin air, it's not going to go very well, so it is important to make an outline or blueprint for your structures. Now, if the structuring looks like this, then I think we can agree that the level's not going to be very fun to play at all. Yeah, it doesn't look great, and even if you had just pillars, it just looks really monotonous and really boring. So try to mix it up with some big structures like this, some smaller structures, and some pillars. Now, when you mix these together, you get quite a good blueprint for your future level. So you might be wondering, where do you even start to decorate a structure? And that's where you can get inspiration from other creators, but that doesn't mean going into the level, copying the structure and pasting it into yours. That's just stealing. But what you can do is get inspiration from a little part of it, like maybe the type of glow they uses or the type of colour, because inspiration is really important when trying to improve at creating. But it's still quite difficult to find out what blocks you should use, so I would just experiment to find out which ones work for you. Now, some ones that do work quite well are these filled in colour blocks, these pixel blocks for extra detail, and these blocks that I'm showing on the screen. These work really well and are quite easy to use when doing structures of any type. But make sure to experiment to find out the type of blocks that you think are the easiest to use. So I'm going to decorate a structure real quick, and I'm going to use like these simple outline blocks, and I'm going to make it a tiny bit more unique than a simple block structure. So I think, yeah, this will do quite nicely. Now usually I like to add some of these black thicker outlines to the back to make it look a bit more better, to be honest. Now I'm going to start off with some top detail, and I'm going to use these, I don't know what they're called, but they look nice, and I'm going to add some green colour to it. But you can kind of pick your top detail, you don't even need to have any. I just like using these are quite good. So now we get to pick our block design, and picking a block design can like kind of differ the style of the structure, so you can pick literally anything though. I'm going to pick these blocks right here because they're quite simple and I quite like them, to be honest. I'm going to edit the colour slightly to make it a bit like a different colour and different hue value, because a level that's too monochromatic can seem very boring even if it has really good structure designs. Now, I personally don't want to use the same block design, but you can if you want to. Just make sure to change it up from the original one. So I'm going to use a different block design, and it looks pretty nice. I might add some extra details in there later, but for now I think that works. I think it's a really good idea to have a white outline and a black inside for spikes, and it looks really sharp and clean, but for different styles of levels you can kind of have a different colours for the spikes. What I like to do next is to delete some of the block design, and then I replace it with others to make it a bit more a bit more detailed inside the structures. And in this one I could replace them with black blocks, which kind of as a contrast. And then after that I like to add some details on top of the structures to kind of give it an extra bit of like kick and flavour, I guess. But I love to add extra detail on blending colours because it just fills in loads of space and it makes it look much more vibrant. Now as a shape, we can use these ground spikes inside the structure to because it's kind of a shape and you can use it to like add details that you want. I'm just going to point out you can use literally any detail to add to your level. Like you can even use this block and put one of the channels to black blending, and it'll get this shape left, which you can use to decorate your level. Now it varies for each style. Like in a global design level, you can use a more wide range of different blocks. In a modern level, you have to try and make it look a bit more clean and sharp. And in a realism level, you have to use it in a bit more creative way to try and get it to look like something. Now, creating is a process of trial and error. Many creators give up because they don't get better instantly, because it does take time, and eventually you will get there. You will be able to make good structures. Now, if you found this video helpful, make sure to like and subscribe, and I really appreciate you watching till the end. And thank you, I'll see you in another one.